live from STS Studios in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And hey, we're ready for Shootin The Shiznit. We don't do this as often as we've done at the very beginning, but I have sitting in the green room. Oh no, sitting at his house. It's the midnight special. DJ Michaels, SWE Fury. If you don't watch SWE Fury, we'll put it over about 100 times probably today. But let me tell you, Fight TV, you can watch it for free, as they say in the South, for free. And go ahead and watch it, guys. It has a bunch of, what am I say, stars, but then it has all the indie guys also, and they're stars too now, and I'm sitting across from one of them right now. Man, I want to start from the very beginning, though, before we start talking about SWE. How did you, because me and you met West Memphis, Arkansas, I really think I was there for maybe your first or second actual match. So me and you met in the dressing room there at NEW. But what got you into wrestling? I mean, how did you grow up? When did you start growing up as a fan and such?
Man, it's going to sound like the cliche answer, but always. Like my earliest memory, probably, I don't know where it was. I was maybe 4 or 5 years old, and my dad took me to this little like civic center, community center, and the main event was Jerry the King Lawler and Jeff Jarrett versus the Moondogs, and it scared the living crap out of me. And my dad said I was crying, going, "No more boom boom, Dad." Called wrestling went crazy. And then like as far as when I wanted to do it, we were living in a small house. My dad was a security guard / Baptist preacher, and so we moved around a lot. And I remember he ordered a pay-per-view by the name of the WWF Royal Rumble, and the main event was Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker in a casket match for the WWE Championship. And man, something about it, like watching Shawn come out all cocky and cool. And I looked at my dad and I was like, that's the coolest person I've ever seen. I want to be just like him. And my dad hoped it was a phase. He wanted to, honestly, he would always say he wanted to get me out of Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles. So he gave me wrestling and he created a monster. And
oh man, that's what they say. It's very funny, but we had Kofi and what's his name? I can't even think of the New Day's name.
Xavier Woods.
Yeah, they dressed up like the Power Rangers. Did you see that?
I popped for that. I
did too. I'm like, I'm really too old to be watching Power Rangers, but I liked them because they were, like Godzilla and all that. That's what it was to me. So I watched it when I was too old. So growing up as a fan, you go to Memphis Wrestling. My first show, I always say my first show was at Blythe, Arkansas, but actually I had the same experience you did when I was 6 years old. It was in a local place. In the wrestling, my uncle had me on his shoulders, and I could see into the ring, and the guy was bleeding. So I was crying, and I didn't want to go to wrestling ever. Then I went for my first time in Blythe, Arkansas at a spot show. When you was watching it then, when as a kid, did it ever occur to y'all that's not on the up and up? They know each other, or did you just go for it? You just went for it as a huge fan.
Kind of in the middle. Like, I definitely was completely consumed by it, and I loved it. But I knew my dad was really straightforward with me from the beginning. Like, he never said the F word because I especially now that I do it. Fake, no. But I kind of always knew. But it's like, to me, it was like Power Rangers, but cooler. Shawn Michaels could kick Tommy Oliver's ass. But with me, man, it's really like I try to hammer home to people, like it's really cliche to say it's your life, but with me, like I didn't watch other shows, I didn't listen. Like I would be the kid in high school that you'd be like, hey, do you listen to such and such or this band, and I'd be like, no, I never heard of them. And then the song would come on the radio and they'd be like, oh, I love that song, and they'd be like, oh, well, that's who we were talking about. Oh, well, that was the theme song to SummerSlam 2005. That's how I know that.
I was a big fan, but I don't know if I was into football and other things, but I do remember that about you. I remember the trainer there at NEW telling me about me and him used to spend time talking to each other late at night because I had a hotel job and he couldn't sleep. And he's like, I got this young kid. He's really, really small, blah, blah, blah. And then the other guy, what is the other guy's name? Was a big Power Ranger fan. And you talk about really, really small.
Prime time. Oh, you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about. I thought you were talking about Kevin Charles. You're talking about little bitty Josh Carney.
Yeah, Josh Carney. And then after I seen Josh, I was just like, no. And you went at the time when you first started, you was Mo. I love that MOE, the whole 9 yards that you did.
Do you know how I got that name?
No, but let's go ahead. Go ahead. Tell how did you get Mo?
The reason I stuck with Mo so long is like it was an insult, and I wanted to flip it on its head. We were in that small Arkansas building for that guy who should not be named, and there was a thunderstorm, and it knocked the power out for maybe 15 seconds. And when the power came back on, I had rolled in the middle of the ring, rolled my eyes in the back of my head, and dong. And that trainer went nuts. He's like, "Oh man, stop being a mark. You're such a moron. Mo, that's gonna be your name, Mo Ron Stiegel." And then of course
I remember that. Him telling me that's
MO.
Yeah.
He wanted MO, and I sat at home all week, and I was like excited I was gonna debut, but upset at the same time. Like, I don't want to be a moron. Like, what? And I was just watching. I go, oh, wait, who's my hero? Shawn Michaels, HBK. So I'll just throw an E on the end of that and get the people to chant MOE. So I had my first match against his kid, and I said the now infamous words, "I'm the MOE, baby." And it caught on like wildfire. He was super mad in the post-production meeting, but it just stuck, and I went with it, and I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I mean, you did. I seen some stuff you did on Facebook, and like I said, I was there and watched a lot of the very first tapings of some of your first matches, and thinking to myself, put this together, and this kid can work. And the idea that something that you guys did backstage, and a lot of people, that you did on that was a production. That was a television production, and I talked about Austin Lane about this, who's with Championship Wrestling for Memphis now. I was like, people don't understand that you had so much experience on television already.
Yes.
But your interviews, DJ, you actually, I think you just was born to do a promo. I don't know. You and Kevin, I'm sorry, Ivan Warsaw, we'll have him on. But you and Ivan, I think, were born to do promos. And people are going to say, BT, this guy, we don't know much about him. What are you talking about? But you can watch your Facebook, and it's just like you're so easy at doing it. And that's one of the hardest things. You can learn all the moves, but it's one of the hardest things for some people to do. Why was it easy? Was you that kid? Because I was. Was you that kid that stood in front of the mirror and did the
mirror, shower, bathroom? I used school as my platform a lot of the time.
Oh my God.
A lot of the time. Like when I got off the school bus, I would hum either DX's music or something, and I would walk through the halls like I was the biggest star. And oh man, my disciplinary report is long. That was my ring. I couldn't be a wrestler yet. I wasn't old enough, obviously, in school. So that was my I signed up for ROTC, and hated it because they made me cut my hair back when I could grow hair. Right. And I would always we had if you got in trouble, you had to go on Friday to what they called a PT party, physical training party.
Oh,
and
wow.
Every Monday, without fail, I would raise my hand and cut some sort of promo about how I'm younger than my colonel and I'm in better shape than my colonel. And I'd like to be invited to the PT party, please.
Oh, my God. What an ass. Yeah. So maybe I know why you got on some people's nerves. Maybe that was it. I like this guy. He's talented, but gets on my nerves kind of thing. I heard that a couple of times when at the West Memphis school, but we'll talk a little bit more about West Memphis School because I want to know. We talked about the promo. I want to know why I know why, because you were such a fan, but when you step through and you get that first day of training, tell me how that first day of training went, what you had to do.
Well, actually, you got to rewind a couple days before that. I was my grandfather in 2009. About March, he got diagnosed with stage 3 cancer all over. Yeah. By the time they found it, it was everywhere. And I went to him and I was like, he was like a second dad to me. He had a lot to do with my upbringing. And I was like, hey, I've annoyed the crap out of you and the entire family with my wrestling antics, backyard wrestling shows. My birthday, every birthday party would be kids coming over and we do backyard wrestling. And I'd make flyers, the Extreme 18 birthday bash and all this stuff. And I asked him, I was like, hey, I've got this scholarship to go to Northwest Community College, but I found this flyer for this wrestling school in Arkansas. What do I do? And he goes, you already know what to do. Listen to what do you want to do? And I went and I got in the ring with my trainer's nephew, Josh Pill.
Right,
and he was like 8 or 9, 10 at the time at the most. And he goes, I asked I asked the guy if I could get in the ring after I signed up with the school. And he's like, yeah, sure. Knock yourself out. It was the greatest moment of my life, stepping through the ring for the first time. Like, I can't even articulate it. It was just amazing. And then he goes, you want to take a bump? And I go, yeah, how? And he goes, oh, just tuck your chin. Just tuck your chin and fall. So he does it. So then I do it. And the trainer, he snapped. He's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I said you could get in the ring. I didn't say you could just. And so I got embarrassed my first time.
Right.
And then finally, the first day of training, I met my best friend for life, the guy who I actually credit with training me, because, yeah, I went to that guy's school, but the guy that did the hands-on was Kevin Nickel, a.k.a. Killer Nichols, a.k.a. Knuckles Matson, Ivan Warsaw.
That's his last name there. He is he's with you at the show there, and I'm so glad to see him back in the business because I know he took a break. Yes. We're going to try to have him on in the future, because I want to tell you this, and you know this because you read the website, but of all you guys that was at the school at the time, I picked Kevin. I said Kevin is going to be with the promos, the actual being able to work, understanding where to put stuff, which takes sometimes 2-3 years to understand. But he had it.
And as good as he was then, now it's like, whoa.
Oh, I seen his last promo, and it's chilling, man.
Have you seen his last match?
I plan on watching it. So
he put that loudmouth Enzo in the hospital. Yeah, how you doing? Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial, and we'll be right back. All right, back for commercial. I want to remind everybody, DJ, that Manscaped.com, use promo STSPOD. They sponsor every live stream. We appreciate that, and visit all our sponsors. We also have a phone number, so if you want to call in and cut a promo on us, guys, we'll play the actual voicemail on the show. It's going to be on the screen. If you listen to the audio version, it is 501-232-1701. Just call in, cut a promo on us, or ask us a question. We'll play it right here. The only other show we got this week is Rolling Into Info on Saturday. As usual at 1 p.m., we review Championship Wrestling from Memphis right after it goes off. All right, let's talk. We're in school. We're working out. We're getting ready for our first match. There used to be... Did you have to do that deal where you had to go an hour or something to graduate? How did that work?
Yeah, the way the school was set up, for various reasons, we won't mention the guy that trained me's name, but he copy and pasted his entire curriculum from his tag team partner, Nightmare Danny Davis in OVW. So technically all us guys got the exact same drills and training as Randy Orton, Batista, Brock Lesnar, John Cena. Man, I can't bring his name up, but I can never. He trained us right. He trained us old
But
school.
it was. I mean, we keep saying we can't bring his name. The thing about it is we just don't want to bring attention to his name. And it was he was a nightmare with Danny Davis. Everybody that's listening to this probably 100% know why we don't want to bring attention to that part. But we do want to say that he was instrumental in getting you going. And then meetings, and it always happens like this in training schools. You will have the main trainer, and then you always, and I do this in real life. You always have somebody that you grab a hold of that becomes your buddy, that actually teaches you more than the trainer. And I'm like that in my shoot job right now. When I started 5 years ago, every time I changed my job at that job, I always grab somebody that knows what the hell they're doing and say, hey, how do you do this? I want to ask them questions. I don't care about management. I want to ask them questions. But that's what happened. And with Kevin being as good as he was, Eric Wayne,
Greg King,
all those guys were just, I hate to say the word naturals, but that's just the way it felt with you guys. And it also had to do with, and I say this about NXT, but it had to do with the lot y'all trained together. So y'all were able to train together, put together some matches, and have some, we had one night, 22 people in the crowd, but y'all had a 5-star match. And people would say, how the hell did they have a 5-star match? They had a 5-star match. I don't care if there was 12 people in the crowd. That's what they did. So who did you do? You did I was talking about everyone had to do the Iron Man or the 1 hour match to graduate from school.
Yes. Unfortunately, due to bad choices on a 18-year-old kid's part, and thinking with I don't know if we can say it, thinking with the wrong head. I don't know if we can say that on here. But
yeah, you say anything you want to. It's not for the kiddos. It's a mature audience.
I made some young, dumb choices, and I got kicked out of the wrestling school. And I do
not remember that. Did you take matches and start working matches and you weren't supposed to?
Oh no. I got romantically involved with the trainer's son's girlfriend.
Oh, that's right. I remember all of that. Yes. I remember that. Yeah. That was kind of.
I was young. I was stupid. She was hot.
But we didn't graduate from the school. So as soon as you get out of the school, who says, okay, we know you're one of the Nightmares guys. You've been trained well. Who started using you at that point?
I'm so glad you asked that, because when I got kicked out, my trainer went on a relentless tirade to try to block me. I couldn't get work from Burt Prentice. I couldn't get work anywhere. And finally, I owe this man so much for taking a chance on me. Randy Hales was running Ripley, Tennessee, Power Pro Wrestling, and he called me up and said he don't care what that guy says. He likes me. He used me. He featured me. I can never thank that guy enough.
Awesome. So that was your first, and then we went from there to I seen your name all over the place. You worked with Matt Riviera and were you on? Yeah, what was it now? Was
TCW? That's Traditional Championship Wrestling.
Right. Brian Thompson was the announcer, big buddy of mine, and then Matt's show. That production wise was some of the best production I've seen in independent wise. Did you tell me some of the things you did there that you were just like a out of body experience kind of thing? Oh my God, I am a wrestler now.
Oh, the first day, because up to that point, I worked exclusively for NEW, and I did a couple small towns like Ripley and stuff, little buildings. Also, by the way, you brought up Austin Lane earlier, Memphis Star. Hey, Austin, I'm still 9-0 against you, bro. And I pulled up with my tag partner at the time, the Party Machine Greg King, and there was a big old TCW truck, and we walked in, and there's all this lights and scaffolding, and I remember it sounds so trivial and silly, but I tapped Greg, and I was like, bro, they got steel steps by the ring. And then I turned the corner, and there's Doink the Clown. and there's Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and I'm just like, and all these guys, and I remember going up to Greg and Kevin, and I was like, dude, what am I doing here? Why am I here? I was like, I'm 20 years old. Like, I don't think I'm this good. And he goes, and they both were like, well, you're here for a reason. Obviously you are.
Right. Yeah. You, especially at that age, no matter what you're doing, you question yourself, everything you did. That had to be a really fun run there with Matt's promotion and with a lot of exposure. Did you ever have people stepping up to you and saying, hey, aren't you blah, blah, blah from the exposure of that television?
A few times. The coolest part was one time right after I beat Ivan Warsaw on the CW30 Memphis TCW. My dad walked into an Arkansas gas station wearing one of my shirts, and somebody noticed it. So I mean, but really not really, like not that time. Since I've started SWE, yes.
Wow, yeah, that's awesome because it's got SWE has got it's that hardcore following, the guys that watch everything.
It's wrestling. It's not.
They watch it there on Fight TV. Everybody watches it.
It's not this modern day flippy dipsy hit you with 14 finishers bullcrap. It's real.
And, me and Brian Thompson have argued about this. Not argued, but talked about this. That he believes, and that's why he's a huge SWE fan, that there is still a market for classic professional wrestling, and
what SWE's doing, packing,
and that's what you are doing. I believe it or not, I like the flippity floppy bullshit, so I like it all. I do really like it. I like your show looks real professional. The show does. That's what I like about it. Tell me, how did you get? And we went from, when did you become, and I know the last name, where did you get the last name? I know how you did that because you were such a huge fan. But how did you morph into DJ Michaels in a Midnight Special? Where did that come from? One of my all-time favorite songs, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it's a great song. Actually, that credit also has to go to Mr. Ivan Warsaw. My dad passed away January 2020. And I got, super depressed. I gained a lot of weight, got up to like 210, 212 pounds, and wasn't watching wrestling. That was like our thing. My 30th birthday, it's funny, the beginning we talked about the Moondogs. My 30th birthday, my dad, last time he got to watch me wrestle, as the MOE, I won the Moondog Spot Hardcore Memorial Battle Royal. And and I was just like, I think I need to let that character go with him. And man, Kevin would call me all the time when I was down and depressed and try to pep talk me and encourage me. And one night he called me and he's like, man, I'm listening to a song on the radio and I think I got your name for you. It should be the Midnight Special. And I hated it when he first told me. I was like, Midnight Special? The Midnight? What can I do with that? And he's like, anything. Literally anything. And then we got to January of this year. We all went to an SW seminar. And they do a seminar before every show. And they actively use guys on the seminar. So if you're a wrestler, you want to know how to get on SW Fury, that's how you do it. Show up and show out.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And both of us were lucky enough to get chosen to work the show that night. I believe he worked the head trainer of Booker T's reality wrestling school. And I got to work two of my old buddies, Mike Anthony and John Omari, the OMGs, as tag team champions. And man, they've used me ever since. I keep coming back. I work really hard in the seminars, and I think what really got me my spot was I rolled out of the ring for the second seminar I went to, and I happened to be right next to Teddy Long, former SmackDown general manager, and a referee came up to him with this guy, and he goes, "Hey, Mr. Long, this is our guy for Boogeyman tonight." And Teddy was like, are you cool with eating worms? They're real worms. And the guy kind of like froze up. And I like butted in and I was like, hey, no disrespect, not trying to overstep, but I've been working for 12 plus years. I'll put worms in my mouth. Like, let's do it. And so he took me over to James Beard and the rest is history. Like,
I want to ask you something about that, because you just said something that I think, and I still think of you as a kid because I'm so much older than you, and that's the way I saw some of your first matches, so I still see you as that kid. But you've been doing this for 12 years.
13
Why?
now.
13 now. Why do you think that some of the young guys don't understand? Like, your character on this television show, it's not, this guy's not getting any wins. He's not, but you're center attention. You're doing these. I'm serious. They're really good promos. Yeah, you get a reaction. Everybody hates you in the crowd. They want to see you get your ass beat. But what do you think that young guys don't understand? That you're fucking getting over by doing what you're doing. The worm thing, somebody said, well, you're not going to do the worm. I remember saying, if Vince called you right now and wanted you to go on and do that, do one of those dances with just your G-string on, BT, would you do it? I said, fuck yeah, put me on Raw. That's just the way I felt about the business. But why do you think they don't understand that you're getting over by getting worms put in your mouth?
I think a lot of the young kids, they, I don't know. I think they lack of guidance. Like, there's not a lot of quality trainers out there anymore. There's still a few. Rather by just dying out, like a lot of huge names not with us anymore. I think that's the biggest issue is guys just don't get it. Like, they think it's all like I help out. Ivan Warsaw has his own wrestling school. I help him out. And we got a great group of kids, but they're all about wins and losses, and it doesn't matter, man. Like, I think it's just they buy into the fantasy of it too much. They don't know how to separate it
from the work between who the real person. Yeah, I think so too. That's a great answer with that. Me and you talked about something, and you said, and I want to pat myself on the back because Mark Henry also recommended this to you, and me and you talked about this. Is it going to be something that you morph into and you kind of get out of the ring? Because, dude, I would love to see you with two big, huge guys that can't talk, and you just run your fucking mouth, and someone's going to try to get to you for X amount of weeks till they finally do. Is that something you're going to say, okay, I'm tired of bumping every night? Are you going to morph into or, evolve into just being a manager?
I'm definitely more open to the idea now than I was before. Like, when I was still in NEW, I got a phone call from Bruno Lauer asking me if I wanted to be a WWE referee, and I turned it down. I was like, "Nah, I can't."
Oh, shit!
I can't be that close.
You were young and dumb there.
I was like, I can't be that close to it and not do it. And I'm not that. It's a hard question to answer. Like, do I want to get out of the ring right now? Absolutely not. Will I manage people? Yeah, I'm a jack of all trades, man. I can do it all. Like, I can manage a guy and get in there and do my thing too.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't do a lot of fantasy booking. Number one, I told somebody yesterday, my co-host Lance, I said, I'm not a good fantasy booker. I don't like doing it. But I don't usually tell what I would do with you on the air, because someone's going to listen to this podcast and say, BT said. So if BT said it, there's no way they're going to do it on TV. But I would morph you would be a manager, but you'd be that manager that worked the big shows. You would be able to work the big shows in 6-man tags.
Like Paul Ellering and the Road Warriors. Like.
Yes. But I mean, the thing about it is, all you're bumping the way you do all this, it's almost like it's you Eddie Gilbert bump is what you do. You put an emphasis on falling, and especially when it's a big star, and not like Rodney Mack, the stuff that you bumped around. You're like a pinball, and that's what you should be doing. That's the perfect thing. Tell me about working with about the Boogeyman. Was he just 100% professional? Tell you, hey, we're gonna eat the worms. Just how did that go backstage?
Oh, it was great. Tim Storm was the guy that let me know that it was official. Like, hey, you're gonna work Boogeyman, and I hadn't got the opportunity to work a name before that. So he kind of like gave me a quick little pep talk. He's like, hey, just shut your mouth, open your ears, listen, do what he wants. And he wasn't like that at all. Like I was kind of nervous. A referee brought me in a dressing room. It was just me and him. And he laid out what he wanted to do. And then he started asking me my opinion of stuff. And he really liked my ideas. And so he goes, it was supposed to be just like a squash. I was going to go in. He's going to choke slam me. Boom, done. Like a minute. And he goes, no, let's go out there and work. And he can't. It was his idea for me to jump him at the bell and get some heat on him. And man, I owe him so much too. Like everybody there. Rodney Mack, Super Mex Hernandez, Teddy Long, Mark Henry, Kevin Sullivan. You talk about my bumping. After the first seminar, Kevin Sullivan pulled me to the side and he liked my personality and charisma, but he goes, I want you to watch different ways to bump. I don't want you to bump like everybody else. He's like, when a boxer takes a hit, he don't fall like a wrestler, So he's like, I want you to look at different ways to bump off stuff. And I did, and he was right.
Yeah, right. Oh, yes. Guys like that can help improve. And it's. I talked to someone that's been in the business longer than you the other day. We were sitting there talking and off air, not on the show, but he said, I'm still learning. I'm still learning. And I said, don't ever. And even with what I do with this podcast, I've learned how to do video. I've learned how to edit this, edit that. I've learned so much the last 4 years. And if you stop learning, especially in the wrestling business, you just get really stale. No one cares about you. And I think I may like the Midnight Special, DJ Michaels, better than any of your characters or any of your personalities. He's got a touch of Shawn Michaels, a touch of that.
Brian Christopher.
Brian Christopher, the touch of I want to punch you in the face because you won't shut up.
Yes.
All of that a heel needs to have, and it's really fun. All your videos are fun. What I want you to do before we get off here is I want you to tell how social media wise people can follow you, and you can put over the SWE again if you want to.
Yeah, I'm gonna put over the SWE real quick. Let's see, got my notes right here. Our next show is gonna be at the Irvin Convention Center, Saturday, June 19th. Let's see.
Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash is gonna be there, NWO member.
Who's that? Trying to make you say stuff there in the back.
You want to see the guy?
Yeah,
you want to see the wizard behind the curtain?
Bring him on in.
We'll allow the Midnight Special to introduce you to the hottest commodity in SWE today, Ivan.
Oh, shit. What's up,
Brian Tramel?
Hey, man, we're gonna sit down a couple weeks. Me and you are gonna talk.
Translate.
Oh yeah, me and you gonna sit down a couple weeks. All right, and have a talk.
Hell yeah, how you doing, boy?
I'm doing good, brother. How about yourself?
Hey, it's good to see you up out here.
I love knocking out loudmouths.
I love those promos you're doing, man.
Man, it feels good to be back in wrestling, man.
It feels good to have you. It really does. I started this podcast about 4 years ago after I quit the website. It'd been about 7 or 8 years, and all of a sudden we start doing this, and I've had so much fun. But yeah, good to see you back. I'll reach out to you, man. We'll have you on.
Yeah, let's get it on, boy. Take it easy, Brian.
Take care of yourself, brother.
Boom.
Ask Kevin if it's true that he likes gas station food.
Oh, he loves gas station food. That is, he's a resident of the Windy City. And
all right, keep putting the shit over.
Trivia note. He's Melina's favorite wrestler.
Oh, whoa! Now, all right.
Told me herself. I wouldn't lie. Let's see. Like I said, we got the show coming up on the 19th. We're gonna have Bushwhacker Luke in the house, Hall of Famer, of course, Teddy Long, Rodney Mack, Jazz. Man, just a list of who's who. Big Cass XL, who managed by Melina. Hope his feelings ain't hurt that Ivan Warsaw is her favorite wrestler. We're also going to have a kids camp from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
I've seen that. That's a fantastic idea. Fantastic.
Yes, hosted by the eccentric, might we say, Lacey Von Erich.
Is that what you call her? Go ahead. I had no comment.
Beautiful girl. Anyway.
Beautiful.
We'll also have, like I said, the wrestling camp seminar from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. as well. Then that's when we'll let the people in for the meet and greet. You can meet all those big names that we just mentioned, Boogeyman, Enzo, if he's got the guts to show back up after what Warsaw did to him.
There you go. There you go.
And then, of course, the live pro wrestling TV taping starts at 6 p.m. You don't want to miss it, man. Like, I just can't put it over enough. I mean,
and no,
we got NWA's Jack Stain and Crimson, the War Kings, man. We got the new SW Tag Team Champions, the OMGs, Mike Anthony and John Omari. Damos with Roddy Piper's daughter.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people, not only just fans, but there's a lot of people in the business that says, "Hey, BT, you need to watch this every week. You need to." When that happens, then I know they're doing something right, because no one usually recommends me a shit show unless they say, "Watch this shit show," So I have turned in a couple of times to take a look at it and really have enjoyed it. All right. I want to thank you. I want to thank everyone for listening. Same bad time, same bad channel on the best little wrestling podcast in the business. Be there. And I don't know if DJ knows this, but he's going to know it now. I love my mama. Thanks, man.
Oh, no problem.